Dozens of Christians have been arrested in a private prayer meeting in Saudi Arabia and are now appealing to the United States to help. Some 28 people were rounded up on Friday by the hardline Islamists from the Commission for the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice, for that Mark Reed religious police, in the home of an Indian national in an eastern Saudi city. The fate of these individuals is now unknown. Nina Shea, director of the Washington-based Hudson Institute Center for Religious Freedom, had the following to say, quote, Saudi Arabia is continuing the religious cleansing that has always been its official policy. It is the only nation-state in the world with the official policy of banning all churches. This is enforced even though there are over 2 million Christian foreign workers in that country. Those victimized are typically poor from Asian and African countries with weak governments.
So what is the crime? Is it a crime to just practice Christianity?
It's not officially a crime, but it's a gray area. The answer to that, the short answer to that is yes. In theory. In terms of principle, no, they are outwardly permissive, but there's no churches, and provided that you practice your faith in the privacy of your own home, they kind of turn a blind eye to it. But to all intents and purposes, it's illegal.
Has there been any official statement on this?
There's been nothing, no official statement thus far. John Kerry is going to be going there on Tuesday, and it's unclear whether he's going to raise this. As indicated by the quotation, these are typically people from poorer, less powerful, less potent nations and states where they just don't have the diplomatic clout really to do very much.
We need the aliens to come. We need the spaceships to come down and just like tell everybody, all right, all this religious stuff is just silly. Let's stop it. We're all the same family. Let's get it together.
All brothers of Abraham.
Come on.
It's disturbing because Saudi Arabia went on a bit of a PR kick after 9/11, and we're commemorating 9/11 today. But after 15 out of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, they went on a little bit of a PR drive in terms of trying to illustrate they were more a permissive society. There was a number of things were attacked, or a number of things they were criticized for, including the textbooks that they use in schools as teaching an anti-Jewish, anti-Christian, basically anything that was anti-Wahhabi religious message. They went to great lengths to illustrate that they no longer had those kind of textbooks in circulation. It's now been indicated, or it's now been suggested that actually those textbooks are still in circulation and they still do have that kind of underlying message. Regardless, it's still very much, this has still happened, it's still very much taboo to be a Christian. As indicated, there's over 2 million of them in Saudi Arabia. It's just fundamentally troubling. The other thing is that ISIS, they've come out, Saudi Arabia's official policy is they've condemned ISIS, and they've condemned them as heretics, which is it's quite a bold statement to make. And also it's illegal for anyone to be a member of ISIS or illegal for anyone to fund ISIS. With that having been said, a lot of the popular clerical messages and messages from the imams is in line with ISIS philosophy. That is to say, anti-Shia, anything that's deemed to be off the straight and narrow of this Wahhabi school of thought and school of interpretation of the Sunni faith.
I feel like my head is going to explode. You have all these various major religions broken down into subsects and subsects and subsects, and if we could pull ourselves back far enough and see like that we're just this little blue marble floating in space, and how is it that we became all enemies of one another? It has to stop. It just has to stop. My God, come
Wise
on,
words.
Why can't we all get along?
Wise
for God's
words.
sake?
Let's all hold hands. I don't know if that's really going to work. I mean, it's a theocracy, so the extent to which the king's in power, he's given leave to do whatever he wants by the clerics and the imams, who are then themselves put in positions of power. So it all comes, and they can shape and form social and theocratic agendas. So it's all self-serving. So it all comes down to power. And obviously Saudi Arabia is oil. And the other thing just to think about is that the Saudi Arabia, as a Gulf state in its particular position, is a friend, in inverted commas, of the United States.
Yeah, and people are afraid to call them out on human
course.
rights violations because of the financial power that they wield and because of the oil that they control. They get away with this. Nobody will take them to task on these kind of things and force the crown to step up and speak out against these kind of actions.
No. So it's kind of a fucked situation, and it's a bit of a trite thing to say, but it's true, and it's just illustrated by this particular instance. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts, whether you're in favor of religious tolerance, whether you're religious in any way, shape, or form. It's just the right of anybody to believe whatever they want to believe, whether you subscribe to it or not. Anyway, let us know your thoughts. And talking of subscription, as always, subscribe to the Lib TV.